We need to up our game and shit. We need to do comedy butt naked, right?
Saying his goodbyes. He blew his eye socket off and his eyeball fell out.
White women keep kidnapping us. Y'all seen The Blind Side?
Aren't you glad we have that disclaimer at the beginning of the episode?
It's going to come in handy for this episode.
This week's episode is brought to you by Big Boy Raps. Mention the Voice Party and get $200 off your first graphic rap or color change. Big Boy Raps, where the big boys play. Welcome. This week's episode of The Voice Party. I am your host, Corday Snell. Next to me, I have the amazing,
Black Joaquin.
Brown Joaquin.
Brown Jesus. Jesus Cruz. What's up, man? How you doing?
Good, brother. How's it going? Oh, you got sound effects now?
We got sound effects,
Holy
but yeah, we
shit.
stepped it up, man. We stepped it up. Across from me, I have the amazing, the very talented, the guy who put this all together, JD Arandia.
There you go, baby. You rolled the R's. That's what I'm talking about.
Now you just got to get the accents in the right place of the names.
I'm working on it. I teach AP Spanish, you know. It's a part of the thing. And then we got Fields on the ones and twos.
Making podcasts great again.
Hello. Gotta love that hat.
Yeah, and we have an amazing and distinguished guest, a guy who needs no introduction, but we're going to do it anyway. Please give it up for Rudy Ortiz.
Hey. Hola, amigos.
Give him a
Hell yeah.
That's what I'm talking about, baby. That's the DJ Envy sound horn.
You don't got mariachi horns, bro?
No, I don't have no man.
Not yet.
We gotta work on that.
That hat says it all. So.
Yeah, I'm about to say that. Yeah.
We're working on it.
Hey, this has changed since the last time you came, bro.
It has changed. I remember number one. I'm not drunk. That's the first thing. By the way, that's a great policy that you guys put into play, and I'm almost certain it was because of my stupid ass that night.
It definitely was.
I feel like when I left, you guys were like, "Oh man, Rudy's cool, huh?" And then you guys were like, "He got super fucking faded, didn't he?"
I asked about that.
I didn't even know when you left, dog.
Dog, I didn't even know how I got home, and I shit you not, because on the way over here, I was like, "This route does not look familiar at all."
Oh damn!
At all, bro. So I was super fucked up on the way home.
Insurance company's listening right now.
Fuck them. They don't lower my rates, you know. I'm gonna make them tremble for once.
That sounds when I was here with a Chente episode.
Oh yeah,
Chente just passed away, so we were doing shots of tequila.
Yeah, we did a Chente tribute.
Dude, go back and check out the episode, bro. We were passing around a bottle of tequila.
It was just me and you.
And it got to the point where it was just me and then it got to the point where I just kind of kept it right here next to me, and I was like, I'll hang on to
this, JD. And then you were sipping it like it was caffeine.
Like it was fucking Gatorade, man.
That shit was crazy. I remember watching the episode. I was like, oh, fuck.
I was drunk as shit, man. But it was fun, though. It was fun. I mean, I had a good time. You know what I'm saying?
But you remember what you said?
I remember I said a lot of wild shit. I do watch that episode every now and then just to kind of catch a reference as to where my mind was at the time. But I remember I was bashing corporate radio, which is where I work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I did. I made some comments. I made some comments about the homie Sean Boyles at the time.
Rest in peace, Sean Boyles.
Rest in peace to the homie right there. There's a completely different context, though. You know, it had nothing to do with that. So, and I think I tried to give some life advice at the end.
You gave some. Okay, you said something that like it started off philosophical, and then just fell.
And then I got real drunk.
But you do that sober. You always give advice sober.
I do. But
it was nice. It was about comics always. I forget. It was something like comics always. Why do we want to be fun? Why are we funny? Why do we want to do stand up?
The whole concept of even being a stand up comic is just
dig deeper into it right now.
Yeah. What I was getting at the time is I was trying to get to the point where to make the point that when you're a comic, it's like, why do you want to be so funny? Like, what is the thing that drives us? You know, like we all talk about it as the art form. It is the art form, and it's a great art form, and I fuck with it, and I'm very, very grateful for it. But sometimes you got to sit there and wonder, like, what the fuck drives somebody to go up on stage to begin with?
It's not money.
It's not money. It's for damn sure not fame or notoriety. You might get a little bit of it. You might get like a smidgen of notoriety amongst your peers. Maybe every now and then you go to a club and they recognize you at the club, and that feels kind of cool. But I really do think that a lot of the times, you know, artists are really just a glutton for punishment. And that really, you ever seen Passion of the Christ?
Yes. Love that movie.
You know when the fucking dude from the church is like whipping himself on the back, on his knees, you know, whipping himself? That's a lot of times what artistry is like, in my opinion. And yes, I am calling comics artists, you know, believe it or not. So yeah, that's the point that I was getting at.
Homie.
Yeah, it's fucking scarred up. Yeah, hey, have you ever seen Roots? My shit looks like Kunte Kente.
And on top of that, bro, we're Chicanos, so we listen to sad ass music because we like to suffer, dog.
Bro, real talk.
Yeah.
I really do think that being Mexican does kind of play a role in like the reason why I got into stand-up comedy, because
Were you the funny cousin?
I was the funny cousin. I was the guy that was always, you know, cracking jokes and shit. But the thing is, though, that being Mexican is part of the Mexican experience is letting everybody clown you. That's part of it. Like if in my family,
I still don't believe you're Mexican, bro.
why not, fool? Why not? Because the beard is popping. You know what I'm saying? I know you want to see me walk in here with some sort of garb. I know that's what you want. But yeah, but in my household and with my family, with my friends, you know, if they weren't making fun of you and if they weren't talking shit to you, then it didn't feel like love.
No.
Yeah, right.
You know, it just felt like, oh, that's just a passerby.
Those are your estranged cousins.
That's my ese es mi primo.
¿Cómo estás, mijo? Oh, qué
It's the difference between being mi primo and el primo.
Yeah.
When you're el primo, they fuck with you. When you're just mi primo, it's like, you know, he's he's in the bloodline.
Yeah.
And there's a difference. There's a difference from ¿Cómo estás, mijo? To que ese pinche botijas ya llegó.
Exactly.
Ya llegó el borrachito.
Ya llegó, pinche pedo. Fucking esconde la tequila, güey. Yeah. So yeah, definitely. I think there's an element of gluttony for punishment, and I'm gonna stick by that, man. Because the longer I do comedy, the more I kind of realize. I was just talking about this last night because I did a show at a country club with Jeff Applebaum and Brian Thomas and Cody Smith, basically the whitest men in America. And I was very happy to be there, you know, and I was having a good time. And on the side, I'm talking to the comics like comics. But then when it's time to get up on stage, I'm looking at like 110 old white folks that are there from their country club membership and shit like that. And I was saying to myself after the show, I was like, you know what? It's just, it kind of turns me on to know that these people are not fucking with me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I kind of like that.
Like when you see someone bomb, you laugh, but not because you feel bad. Like, not because you're making fun of them, because you've been there.
Yeah, and you understand the struggle, and you know what that feels like. But at the same time, though, you know, even though I enjoy, the reason I enjoy it is because I do like to overcome that, and I think that is badass. That's my favorite part of actually watching comedy, is watching the comics struggle and then turn that shit around on its head and actually come out on top. So that's part of the reason why I go to shows, because I want to see people that I know fall apart and then fix themselves back up. That shit is dope to me, man. That's inspiring to me. So there's definitely an element of like self-deprecation, you know?
For sure. And it is.
No, I said hella.
Yeah, that part of it too is like it does feel better when you start off a show and there's not a lot of laughs, and then you kind of bring it back.
Right.
Yeah.
And then because
it's hard to do.
You know what it's like? It's like when you leave high school and then that girl that never fuck with you a couple of years later, after she's had a kid or two, then she's like, damn, man, Rudy, I always liked it. It's like, yeah, right, bitch. That shit, you weren't saying that shit in 11th grade. Stop that shit. You know? And it's like, you don't wish bad on her, but you're just looking at her like,
I was good all along.
I was good all along.
I was bad on her.
Always me.
I was bad on her. I won't.
Jesus Christ, Corday. Here's some tickets. You can come see my show.
There you go. Like, I heard you doing well. I heard you like, oh yeah, bitch, you see me doing comedy now. Like, yeah, I saw you graduate and like you're funny now and everything. Like, okay, that's cool. All right. What you want, bitch? I had a chick do that. That's why.
Okay.
And she was like hitting me up for beer. And she's like, oh,
beer?
Beer? Damn.
For beer, yeah. It was weird as hell. She
What
was
kind of beer?
Mickey's.
Okay.
She wanted Mickey's.
Oh, like hitting you up to hang out with beer, or like, can you buy me
She a
some
minor?
beer?
No, she was 18.
She a minor?
She just turned 19 and she was having a party. She needed Corday to get her some
No, it was weird. We graduated together. I was like, bitch, you hitting me up for beer? What the fuck is going on? And she's like, oh, can I borrow $20? I was like, I don't even know you like that. Like,
the local prostitutes are hitting fucking Corday up.
yeah, they was, yo. They was. She was holding out for Mickey's, yo.
Hey, Corday, you want to buy life insurance, homie?
That's a different one. That's the previous scheme.
I had a Herbalife chick. Like, hey, you want to hang out? Hey, we're doing this, and I know it wasn't Herbalife. It was like a coffee thing. Hey, I know you promote shows and you like music. I know this show promoter. Maybe you can talk to him. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, let's roll. Yeah. And I get there, dude. And it was one of those like multi-level fucking what's it called? Multi-level marketing type.
Of course,
like
pyramid schemes.
Yeah. And I was like in the middle of it, like, what the fuck?
You know, that sucks when someone comes up to you like thinking it's something else, and So in my old job, I used to install alarms, and this lady said, "You did a really good job."
Aww.
She's like, "Here, I want to give you this," and I was like, "Fuck yeah, I want to buy lunch." She handed me a note, and I opened it up. Eaters Anonymous. We meet Thursday. Get the fuck out of here.
Oh, damn.
Get the fuck out of here.
Also, that's super fucked up to that group to call it Eaters Anonymous, because if you're an eater, bitch, you're not anonymous. We see you.
You can't hide it.
You can't hide that shit.
Did you know that was a thing?
No, I didn't.
EA, it's in the game.
EA Sports.
EA Sports.
There we go. EA Sports.
EA Sports.
Write it down.
Yeah.
Somebody need. That's a T-shirt. That's merch.
That's all right. Hey,
That's a new bit.
that's a new bit. That's a new bit,
Bro,
man.
so I used to sell Cutco knives when I was like 18
you
years
did?
old.
I was just about to ask that.
I
yeah.
was that fucking guy. And the most pathetic moment that I ever had was I had a crush on this girl, and I set up an appointment with her mom to sell knives. So I took my little goofy ass bag with the knives and shit, and I pulled up to her house. And my whole plot the whole time was like, I'm just gonna buy some time. I don't give a fuck about selling one knife. I just want to buy some time until she comes home. And then I'm in her house. And for some reason, I thought that was gonna be a way to woo her. If I just in her house in a fucking button up and a clip on tie,
Looking sharp.
with a table full of knives.
Talking to the moms, already got it good in with the parents and stuff like
I thought
that.
that was somehow good. I was gonna win her over like that.
I'm a
so.
salesman.
You used to do door to door?
No, I used to do cold calls.
Oh,
and so I would
shit.
try to set up appointments with people. But what they used to tell you back in the day was,
Oh, so
start with your friends and family.
Yeah.
Start with the people that you know are gonna say yes.
I went to one of those meetings.
Of course,
and I was just like, I thought it was like for security, because my cousin was like, "Hey, cuz, I got a job for you. You're gonna just go to this little thing. They're gonna interview you, and you get a job afterwards."
Go to meeting with hella dudes in baggy suits.
What? So I didn't know. So I go there. I'm like, okay, this must be for like a new security gig or something like that. Because my cousin was like in security. He know I do security, so I got my guard card. Cool. I walk up in there. We start talking about stuff. You know, we're a dope company. I'm like, okay. So all right. So where we based out of? Are we based out of here? Okay. I ain't never seen this building. Okay, cool. He's like, yeah. So let me tell you about sales. I'm like, well, you don't sell security. You just like go out there and show up. You know. He's like, no, but let me tell you about Cutco. I was like, Cutco? What the fuck?
Nah.
I'm like, knives? Who the fuck would buy knives? Like,
I have Cutco knives.
You got some?
I got some, yeah.
Dude, I actually have one Cutco knife, and
From back then?
No, but what happened though is my life came full circle about 6 or 7 years ago, because I was selling Cutco knives when I was like 18, right? And then like 5 or 6 years ago, my little cousin had a homie who was selling Cutco knives. So the dude, he was trying to run his spiel on me, and I'm a grown ass man at this time, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, I got other interests in life, and my Cutco days are behind me, right? But I saw this youngster, and I was like, I'm listening to his spiel, knowing exactly what the fuck he's talking about. And I said, you know what, dog? Let's set up an appointment. And I said, here's such and such time, such and such date. This dude came to meet up with me. He had the whole setup and everything. And I said, put the knives away, bro. I want to talk to you. I said, I'm gonna buy a knife. But what I'm really doing is I don't give a fuck about the knife. I'm buying your time right now.
Right.
Because I want to talk to you about your real fucking life.
There we go.
Because the fact that you're out here selling knives right now, let me tell you right now, bro. This is not the fucking way. All right. So I spent $80 on a
Did you have
butter
a
knife.
bottle of tequila at the time?
We got footage. Roll the clip.
Let me tell you.
hold up, mijo. Hold up.
So I literally did that. I spent $80 to buy his time. Because I wanted to talk to him about his life. And to be honest with you, bro, we actually had a real a solid conversation. And he was telling me about what he wanted to do and shit. And I don't know. I've never seen the motherfucker since. But
That's dope.
at the moment, though, I felt like I was really
Talking to your younger self.
You feel me?
Yeah.
Though? And that's
That's
the
a trip.
thing about being a dude, man. Like sometimes when I see a youngster, you know, I'm not in direct competition with them. That's the difference between men and women. Like a woman will see a young girl and she becomes directly in competition with her.
Yep.
It's like, bitch, you 42.
Yeah.
She's 21. She got her whole fucking life ahead of her. You are not the same. All right. But she'll try to compete with her. Dudes, on the other hand, we see a youngster in a similar situation that we were in, and we see ourselves in them, and we're like, you know what? I wish somebody would fucking game me up or tell me somebody would have laced me up back in the day.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take my time now as a 30-plus-year-old man, 40-year-old man, and I'm going to tell them what I wish somebody would have told me.
That's,
you know?
It's funny you mentioned that because I used to do door-to-door sales.
Me too,
like
man.
cold calls. And one day, this is like the last week of our training. It was for Comcast.
Yeah.
One of the guys in the San Jose office came to speak to us, young, you know, but he was weird, and he got like an award for the Best Salesman of the Year award. He comes up, he gets his award. He's like, I remember one time time I was knocking, trying to hit my goals late at night. It was like 9 p.m. and this family opened the door. It was raining. And the dad opened up and he's like, wait right here. He grabbed his son. I was out there in the rain. And he said, he pointed to me and said to his son, you see that? That's why you got to go to college. So you don't have to end up like
As
that.
an example and shit.
And then he said, thanks, and closed the door. And then that was his speech. And we were waiting for like some kind of, he's like, well, thanks for the award. They go through some fucked up shit as a salesman.
I got fooled like you did too, because I was looking for a job in the penny saver in the back, classifieds, and it said, do you want to work in entertainment, in sports? I'm like, oh, fuck yeah, I want to work in entertainment. So it said, show up at this address at this time, dress nice, wear comfortable shoes. That should have been the fucking, that should have been right there.
For comfortable shoes?
Yeah.
What kind of shit is that?
Because you're asking going to be walking around. So it wasn't entertainment or sports. It was selling like Warrior tickets, bundles,
of course.
Pizza Hut coupons, the Englander dinners. Like, it was like, that area, San Lorenzo, San Leandro. I'm like, this ain't no fucking entertainment,
fucking
sports.
man.
Yeah.
They bullshit you with the verbiage, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And that's
You want to be your own boss?
right.
Yeah.
You want to make, and at the time, $17.50 an hour was fuck. I was getting paid.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's what you were making.
But you never got that though. I don't even know. They just flat out fool you with the $17.50
what you can
an
sell?
hour.
Yeah.
And then they'll be like, when you get there, they're like, yeah, no, it's all commission. But it rounds out to about $17.50 an hour if you sell blah blah blah. And I'm like, you motherfuckers are shiesty, man.
Yeah.
I remember during my interview, I was like, what happens if you don't sell though? He's like, but you will sell because everybody wants it.
Right.
I was like, but why? What makes, I'm over here questioning their scheme. I'm like, but what makes these knives so special? They was like, well, you want me to show? And then they pulled out and it cuts a penny.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And I was just like, but what happened if you got like younger brothers or something like that? Do you want those knives around like younger people who could cut themselves? If we cut a knife, can it cut a person? He's like, no, actually, I was like,
Get the fuck out of here, dog.
in my head, I was like, I feel like this should be an infomercial. Like, I feel like y'all be doing better that kind of way. Like, I don't need this thing.
Because you're not driven, bro.
That's
why you're asking all those questions.
I wasn't, because I wanted like a different job. I just wanted to stand there. I wasn't trying to sell nobody nothing.
Like, do you want to succeed?
You're gonna be the ShamWow guy.
Dude.
You're not eating enough vegetables. Chop the little chop.
Exactly.
But you know what though? If I saw a kid that had an idea like the ShamWow versus going to do fucking marketing, sales or shit, I'd be like, dude, go sell your goofy ass product.
Yeah.
Like bank on that.
Yeah. Right.
Instead of like trying to fall in line with these get rich quick schemes or these jobs that set up the verbiage in a way where it's like they're just trying to pull you in to get you into their scheme, man. Like I'd rather see a youngster bank on himself and do some wild shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if I see a youngster that's trying to start a podcast now, I'm like, do that shit.
Yeah.
Because you never know what's gonna come from that. You get a bunch of subscribers and you're in the money, man. You don't have to fucking sell no butter knives, you know?
Speaking of that, are you still doing your podcast?
I stopped doing mine like a year ago because I was having fun with it and I was really into it. But I'm not very tech savvy, dog. Like all this shit right here, there's no fucking way I could set this up myself, you know?
Me neither.
So I had my cousin P, who was doing all of that for me, but then he had to like move away for a little while and started doing some other stuff. So it kind of ended for me. But yeah, my podcast was like about people's, tragic stories.
Yeah.
And I'd bring them on and I'd be like, tell me about, what did you learn from it? What did you get out of it? So it was a cool setup and everything, but I had to stop because, I'm just all these wires intimidating.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
do this all like. I mean, since you came, what's been going on with Rudy Ortiz?
Shit, man. I mean, I've been doing a lot of stuff, and I mean, obviously, the comedy world is still like, I'm still deep into it, and shit is getting better. Like I'm getting bigger and better opportunities. I've still been on the road with Frankie Quinones for his tour. That motherfucker is obviously, he's blowing up.
Yeah.
And it's different now. It's different now because people are going to see the Frankie Quinones show because they want to see Frankie Quinones, the person. Before it was
Not
they
the
want to see Creeper,
Yeah.
And the Creeper character, obviously, that's what put him on the map.
Yeah.
But now that he's been on Hulu for a couple of years now, it's 2 seasons in, and the show's been a big success. Shout out Chris Estrada, one of the co-creators for This Fool. Now that the show's been a big success, when he packs out these arenas, they're there to see him. The characters are a byproduct, but you could tell that they're there to see Frankie Quinones.
Because the character blew up first.
And that put him on the map. But then that gave him access to all these acting gigs, and now he's doing not just This Fool, but he's also on What We Do in the Shadows on FX.
Oh yeah.
And he's gonna be on another show, like a spinoff for The Walking Dead.
Oh,
so yeah, bro.
Daryl
Like,
Dixon, the Daryl Dixon.
dude,
thing?
it's called Summit. I think that's what I got to remember all this shit because when I introduce him at the shows, I gotta know all this shit. So now it's like a totally different type of crowd. I mean, it's still obviously Mexican centric, like a lot of Latinos, but now you're starting to see a lot of different type of people come out because they want to see Frankie, the guy from This Fool.
He's got a mainstream following.
Absolutely.
At one point, he had like 3 characters he was doing in one show.
Yeah, it was. There was a few characters. At one point, it was 4.
Yeah.
He would do a guy named Jordan Garcia. Then he would do a guy named Pachanga. Then he would do Juanita Carmelita, and then Creeper, and then himself.
Yeah.
So he was doing 5 different sets.
Yeah.
So were you going in between them, like while he did all that, or
so
how?
The structure of the show is I come out and I do like 10 minutes up front, and then we bring up a feature. Oh no, I'm sorry. Then I bring up Frankie as himself immediately, which is a little unorthodox because the show is billed as the Frankie Quinones show.
Yeah.
Right.
So you would think that he would go up at the end as the headliner, right? But obviously he's got all those other characters. So typically what happens is I go up there, I open it up, I bring out Frankie. He does a long set, like a headlining set, but early in the show. Then we bring out a feature. And then Frankie comes out dressed as Juanita Carmelita, and then he goes back to get dressed, and then I do more time in between and set it up so that I can bring out Creeper, and then Creeper comes out and fucking knocks it out the ballpark as the headliner. Yeah. So when he had more characters, I did have to do more time in between, but it gets tiring after a while, man. Like I've seen that fool get dressed and undressed so many times.
Yeah.
I feel like those security guards that have the cameras inside of the dressing rooms and shit. I'm just watching this fool in the green room, like, hey man, yeah, your Spanx are over there. Fool. Like your wig is underneath the couch. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I think after a while he just kind of reduced the number of characters because it was just
It's too tiring.
It was so much, man. It was so much.
Like SNL.
Yeah.
So
Basically, yeah.
As Creeper, was he doing like material, or was he kind of just interacting with the crowd? And because you know how he does the exercise and all, was he doing that, or did he actually have like material as Creeper?
No, he's got material as Creeper.
Okay.
He's got like a whole set just for Creeper. And then, he's also very good on the fly. Yeah. So
How long is the show?
The show honestly is about 90 to 100 minutes.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Like when we try to keep it tight, it'll be like 85 minutes. That's usually for like the first show on the weekend because you got to give the club a chance to. And then he does a meet and greet after every single show, bro. So I always tell this fool, I'm like, bro, like I've watched you on some weekends when it's like 5 shows. I watched that fool do like 1,000 squats because everybody wants to do the Cholo Creeper, the pose with him.
Yeah.
And I've never seen this fool say no to anybody. That's one of the things that even I've been on the road with him for like 5 years, 6 years now. I've never seen this fool say no to anybody.
Yeah.
And I'm not just saying that because like, because when we're on the road, he's like, he's the boss, I'm not just like pandering to him. Yeah. I'm telling you, bro, like I've been waiting for the day for him to be like, nah, like I'm done. Never. Never. It doesn't matter how late in the night it is.
I know how.
How?
Hey, you want to be in the voice party?
Dude, what trips me out about that character Creeper, like there's a lot of homeboys that don't like that. There's like that make it known like, nah, if you want to play dress up, no, this ain't no game. But he made it to the point where I know like some homeboys that go to his shows and they're laughing and so they accepted it. So it's not for them like you're insulting us because he did it in a way where it's like, nah, dude, because that fool's Chicano, that fool,
Absolutely.
His family, it's not degrading it.
Right. And his family's and mom and they all listen to oldies and I think his dad had like lowriders or something like that. I believe. Yeah. So he does come from that culture. He's not just because I've done short movies where I'm dressed as a cholo and I feel like, oh, what the fuck am I doing?
Right.
Like type
because you're from Northern California.
Right.
And I'm telling you right now, Doug, like I'm a Bay Area dude. I know I got a Dodger shirt on. That's a different story. I actually love the Dodgers in case anybody's wondering out there because I always get questioned on
Panderer.
But it's funny though, man, because sometimes, we do so many shows in LA and when I'm in LA, bro, like I've had a lot of different Mexican comics and Mexican comedy fans. They'll come up to me and they'll expect me to be like from LA, but the way that I talk and you could just tell right out the gate, like I'm not from LA. There's a huge difference between the Mexicans from up here in the Bay and the Mexicans from LA, and you could tell the difference almost immediately just off the vernacular. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And also like my cadence and stuff like that. And it's funny that you bring that up because I was literally just having a conversation with Sophia, the photographer that came to join us today.
Shout out to Sophia.
Shout out Sophia L, one of the best in the business.
Yes,
and she does all the pictures. She takes all the pictures at the Post in Manteca, or is it Modesto? Modesto, yeah. Phenomenal photographer. Go check her out. Elmatic. Elmatic is the Instagram handle. But we were just talking about this yesterday where it's like, at what point can you tell when somebody is not being sincere about the culture that they're tapping into in comedy, especially in comedy? Now, you just said that sometimes you get dressed up and do the cholo stuff, and you yourself don't feel like you're being sincere, and that's respectable.
Right.
You know what I mean? But there's a lot of people that you can't really tell just from the appearance if they're actually being sincere, if they're actually of that culture or not. And it's hard to gauge it. And we were talking about how Gary Owen gets this a lot. Because he's a white comic who talks a lot about black culture.
Right.
But from the little that we know about him on a personal level, we know that he's connected to black people. Because he had a black wife and he's got half black kids, you know? So
hey, why are you looking at Corday when you say
because
that?
I want to make sure that Corday feels safe.
I was looking at Phil, so it's a balance.
Sorry to interrupt you,
when I said black wife, I just saw Phil shake his head.
Hey, why'd you put your hat on now? No, but that fool got material. Like he's talking about going to black church. Like he has a whole set. You guys probably seen it, but it's like, dude, he was on point. Like he knew the culture.
So I want to ask you guys, as comics, I mean, how do you distinguish when somebody is being authentic and when somebody is not, or is it even for us to say whether someone is being authentic or if they're just kind of perpetrating and being culture vultures? How do you guys
it's a difference where, like, back in the 50s, 60s, there's that video. I don't know if you know Mickey Rooney, that old actor, old white guy actor, and he's like dressed as a Chinese man.
The Chinese
from Breakfast at Tiffany's.
Yeah, like that kind of stuff. I think that's like,
right.
I mean,
but he was doing a blatant mockery.
Right. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It's like blatant mockery.
He wasn't talking about like how he's Chinese and has Chinese connections. That was blatant mockery. That was pretty easy to distinguish.
Yeah.
You know, if a motherfucker put in some rabbit buck teeth and he go like this, and you're like, okay, I don't think you're just pulling from the culture. You're just literally mocking it. You know.
Right.
So how do you guys have any tips on?
Well, like I watched there's a movie that came out a while back called The Heartbreak Kid with Ben Stiller.
I like that.
And Carlos Mencia's in it, and he plays like a Mexican guy that works at a resort. But even that was like over the top.
It was way over the top.
The mustache is so fake. I think they even like made him browner. Yeah. And it was like, hey, amigo. It was too much. It's like, bro, like you could have gotten like a Eugenio Derbez, a Mexican actor.
Yeah.
He has that accent, but he won't be over the top goofy like they did.
Or like Scarface with fucking.
Scarface is the fucking worst, man.
Yeah.
I love that movie, and I love the concept of it, and I love the image of Scarface. But Al Pacino as a Cuban, hands down, the worst portrayal of another race or another culture.
Yeah.
Because we're supposed to take it seriously. At least Mickey Rooney.
Yeah.
Whether it's the 50s or 2020, like you knew that this was a spoof.
Right.
They tried to pass Al Pacino as a real fucking Cuban. And that shit bothers me to this day.
And he
It was the
supposedly
worst.
did hang out with Cubans to prepare for it.
Yeah.
And the only thing that was like, I don't know if this even makes it better, but I know early on he was struggling to get roles because of his skin color, because he was dark.
Right.
But it's still like the way he portrayed it was fucking goofy.
Dark.
Melanated.
This is always hella funny because I have hella homies who are Latinos and stuff like that, and they always tell me, like, hey, I'm dating this dark skinned chick. I'm dating this chick. She's like dark. I'm like, okay, so I'm expecting like someone like me or like Lupita Nyong'o to walk past stuff like that, who's Mexican as well. She identifies. So I'm just like waiting. I'm like, okay, and then like I see like this slight tan woman comes up, and I'm like, okay, so like when the dark skinned chick coming up, he's like, oh, that was her. And I'm like, no, you can't say dark around me. I'm like, this is dark, right?
That's when people call themselves fat after they just get, like, if you said that you're fat, I'm like, the fuck out of here.
I identify as.
I hate when comedians do that. They be like, hey, I'm trying to lose some weight, like, because like I'm fat, and then I'm just like about to go on. I'm just like, well, bitch, what the fuck am I? Like morbidly obese?
They look over, they say they're fat on stage, and they look at Corday and one button pops. In disbelief.
Well, we were just talking about that about a homeboy Lester Ransom. He's cut. I don't know if you know Lester.
I don't think so.
Comedian.
New guy.
But he spent a lot of time in Chile. He was in Chilean TV, so he speaks some Spanish. But this was like cut.
Black dude from Oakland, moved to Chile, speaks fluent Spanish, and moved back to the Bay.
Nice. So he's cut up, right? And he injured his arm recently, so he hadn't been working out. But that fool's still like marked up. He just got whatever. But he's like, oh man, I gotta get.
I'm getting my body back in
What it
shape.
is, he doesn't have his 6-pack no more.
Right. Right.
So he just has a flat stomach. And he's like, I can't wait till I get back to where I'm rocked up in my six pack. I got a cousin like that.
Yeah.
Like my cousin right now is not Alvin, but my other one. He's 230, 240-ish, right? And he's like, man, cuz I'm out of shape. Like, damn, I got fat. And I'm like, dude, you were me right now when I was in my best shape. So shut the fuck up, all right?
You're my goal weight.
Right, but he's a former running back, so the biggest he was like 180, 195, and back in the day he was trying to get to 200 to like really try to be like a bell cow back kind of a thing. But he's like, now I'm like 240. He's like, cuz I'm fat. I was like, Joe, shut the fuck up, because when I played linebacker, I was that exact same size, and I'm having flashbacks of how great I looked then. Like,
So okay, but to tie this into what we were just talking about a couple of minutes ago, no, because I am curious to get your guys' thoughts on this. This guy right here, he used to be a running back.
Yeah.
So whatever he looks like now, in comparison to us, he probably we can never look at him and be like, damn, you're fat, right?
Yeah.
But it's all about perspective.
Yeah.
You know, for him, he is out of shape.
Yeah.
So going back to comics and whether they pull from other cultures and whether it's sincere or not. If you take somebody like a white comic that says that he was raised like in Louisiana, right? And he is using vernacular or cadence or talking about certain things. Are we in any position to tell that person that they're not being sincere, that they're lacking authenticity, because we don't know what their perspective is.
Right.
To them, they're like, well, yeah, bro, like I went to school with a bunch of black people, like I could talk about this stuff because this is what I saw firsthand in my life. But it just seems to me like we're living in a time where it's like, no, you don't talk about things that match what I believe you should be talking about based off your appearance.
Right.
And I don't know, man, I just feel like that's very short-sighted.
Yeah, and because we're so mixed now, like we're hella mixed.
I think what happens is the problem is with that is like a lot of times like as Latinos, as like black people, it's like we see somebody like that, but okay, they cool with stuff like that, but we always waiting for like is this real? Like we in the back of our heads, we're always, and then we so much we like prop this person up, like, nah, they real, they grew up around this person, and people have said that so many times, and then they end up letting us down, be like, oh, that was fake. Like you said, Carlos Mencia, like he's not Latino. His actual name is Ned, and stuff like that. So that's what it is. Like, and I listen to the Gary Owen podcast too, because like I always hear like that backlash. But he talks about like he's like only had sex with one white woman. I've always dated black women. He's like, you don't choose your audience, they choose you. And like he just constantly, and he talks about the struggle of how a lot of white people didn't believe that this could work. Like a white dude who like talks about black culture, he's like, nah, that doesn't work. He's like, and then Eminem came out, and then he was like, he fired his agent at that time. But like I was a comedian recently a newer comedian trying to do some shit, and then like she was just going up and just like doing like a jerking motion. And then I was like, what the fuck is this bitch doing, right? And then she was like, that's a black dude coming in my face. And then like what she was talking about, it seemed like something that one of her white homegirls told her that she fucked a black dude and this is what happened. Okay. Instead of like actual, this is what happened. And then I was thinking, I was like, all right, maybe this might have happened, but I was like, but this doesn't feel genuine. And I was like, what the fuck? And then she changed it up. And then she was like, Corday, like, was mad at me? I was like, yeah. I never wanted to talk to you after I saw that set, and you kept doing it. I'm like, that was like terrible. That was trash. It was like, did that happen? She was like, yeah. I was like, that's not what black dudes do. That's what this one black dude did. Stop thinking like, she's like, oh, I was like, or maybe there was a black frat dude. I'm like, also, it's like so much more stuff. I'm like, this is not coming from like it also wasn't funny too. So it's more just like.
That's the main thing. Yeah. That's my answer to like a lot of this discussion is like, well, instead of sitting there trying to figure out what this person's entire biography is, because that's what I feel like we're trying to do. Like we're jumping to conclusions because we want to have a point to make against this person so badly that we're willing to presume what the fuck their life was when we don't know a fucking thing about them. But we're willing to do that just so we can prove a point. What I tell people is like, look, dog, was it funny or not? Because you got to remember, this is a stand-up comic. They're up there trying to make you laugh. That is their number one. That is their number one priority. Now, if you, as a viewer or as a critic of comedy or as somebody who brings your political stances or social stances to a comedy show, if you decide that the number one thing that you're looking at is not whether they're funny or not, but whether they're being authentic, well, then that's your prerogative. I think you're shortchanging yourself, and I think you're fucking up your experience because you're supposed to be there for comedy. But I tell people all the time, first decide whether they're funny or not. Before you try to figure out what their entire life is off of 10 minutes of watching them on stage. Unless you know them personally, you can't really speak to that.
I think sometimes it's kind of the thing like where where like as a comedian sometimes you come off as bitter because you're like, I don't even like this person. I'm like, why? I'm like, I don't believe that's real. Or you try to, instead of like enjoy the show, like I go to a lot of comedy shows. Like I'm still a comedy fan at heart, and instead of like sometimes comedians are like, man, I don't know, that motherfucker ain't funny. I'm like, did you see him? Like, have you seen him? Like I've watched comedians, and I'm like, well, how was it? I'm like, nah, it wasn't a good show. Like I didn't know. And then I start asking other people like, was they off? Did they just drop a special? Because that's sometimes you can see if you see a comedian like right after you dropped a special, he or she. Sometimes they're still working on this new material because they just dropped a special like 3 weeks ago. I'm like, oh, and then you get context to it. Like I saw in the comedian, he's huge now, and I was like, this is like okay, but he dropped a special the week prior. Yeah, and I'm like, oh, okay, so all that material is worked out, like really done, and he's just still working on this stuff, and then like he has a huge tour right now, and it's like other people, because like sometimes you're like, hey, is this person funny who's selling out stuff, or is they find their niche and stuff like that, and people love them. And that's always what you want to do, because you always meet people who are super funny, and for whatever reason they don't get the praise, and we kind of look at it like, well, why is this person who's like okay is super big? Like I remember people always hate on Kevin Hart, like he's not that funny. Like Mike Epps is like really funny, like especially in the black community. That was always the big fight. It was Kevin Hart versus Cat Williams and Kevin Hart versus Mike Epps. I was like, hey, I like Kevin Hart and Cat Williams. I don't find Mike Epps to be hilariously funny. I think it's super weird that that Mike Epps is fighting with Kevin Hart, but sometimes he's like, well, I fuck with the hood. The hood got my back, so I don't care what, because everybody know that I'm real. And I'm like, but sometimes you want to elevate from just being real, because sometimes the people from where you come from kind of keep you down. I'm like, and Kevin Hart always kept it respectful. He was like, until you do better with your ticket sales, don't come after me. Right.
Wait, are we still on topic?
I mean, that's the interesting thing about this,
because it's like, like I'm just saying, like, are you coming from like a place where maybe that's been?
Oh, that's definitely been done to me.
Okay.
I've told this story before. Willie Barcena came up to me one time. I was hosting for him. This is like 7 or 8 years ago, and Willie Barcena came up to me because at Tommy T's, I'm in my backyard, and of course Willie Barcena is Willie Barcena, so he's selling out. Nobody's there to see my goofy ass. They're there to see him. But I'm hosting and I'm having a great time and I'm having great sets and everything. And like after one of my sets, he came up to me and he basically said like, "Hey man, why do you talk like that? Like we're all from the hood, but you don't. But I don't understand why you have to talk like that. Why do you think you have to sound like that?" Yeah. And in my mind, the first thing I'm thinking is like, "Hey homie, stop being fake." And instead of saying, why do you talk like that? Just say what the fuck is on your mind. Just say what I know you're thinking. Just say, why are you trying to sound black? Right. Because I know that's what you're thinking. That's because of the way that I talk, because of my cadence, and because it doesn't sound like Mexican from LA.
Right. Yeah.
I know what you're thinking.
Yeah.
Stop with the bullshit. You know what I'm saying? But then, obviously I didn't say that because I wanted to keep working the rest of the week. Right? But in my mind, I'm thinking that, right? But then, so what I did say is I was like, hey man, you don't know anything about me. You don't know where I'm from. You don't know, like I've been doing this for a while, and I always talk like this. I'm not switching it up just because you're here.
Yeah.
So when that happened to me, I was like, damn, like even your own people will look at you and they'll categorize you.
That's because you hang out with Brian Hicks too much.
Shout out R.I.P. Copper Spoon.
R.I.P.
Too soon.
Just want to, for the record, Rudy's views on Willie Barcena do not represent how the Voice Party's invitation to Willie Barcena.
Hey man, I signed that document for a reason.
Yours.
But
no, I know what you mean.
I had to bring that up because it happened to me from another Mexican comic, and I'm like, damn dog, like you just blatantly trying to put me in a box.
Someone you probably looked up to growing up.
Dude, I was so excited to do that show because it's Willie Barcena,
Yeah.
Dude, Fluffy called out Chuy Gomez one time at a San Jose Improv. He was fucking with him.
Yeah.
But he's like, I was in a Chuy Gomez San Jose Improv. Hey, I was on I was with Chuy Gomez. Everybody say what's up with Chuy. And then he's like, Chuy does not talk like that when he turns off the mic. He talks like a paisa.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah.
So is there?
Has that happened more than once like that? Like what you just said? Like
yeah, but it's usually on the flip side. Usually I'll have a lot of black comics that'll tell me like, oh man, hey, you like the blackest Mexican I know. And I'm like, damn, bro, like that's kind of weird that you would say that because, I mean, I guess thank you, and I am back here eating chicken wings and shooting dice with you and shit. So I understand why you're saying that.
Why you looking at me, Rudy?
Because I know you like chicken wings.
I do like chicken wings. I don't shoot dice though. I don't shoot dice.
No, I was looking at Phil.
That's my cousin.
but it just cracks, even that cracks me up because I'm like, you're not really doing anything too different. Like I know you're trying to pay me a compliment in the moment, but like let's say this was I know that we're in the green room of a comedy show, so I know this is all fun and games. But if we were having an intellectual conversation about this, you're not doing much different than what a Willie Barcena did to me, because you're basically categorizing what black people are supposed to behave like. And that shit is wild to me.
Expectations.
Like, bro, like that's how deeply, you know, embedded we have this conditioning as to what people are supposed to be like, that you're willing to put your own people in a fucking box.
What it is, I think, what that comic was trying to say is like, hey man, I respect you because you come off as genuine. That's what it is. Because I remember my cousin told me, she's like, hey, you need to do more black shows. You be talking to like, but you need to do more. You need more black people. You need more black audiences. And I was like, I'm like, what black shows? I got told this at the barbershop. Man, where you be performing these whack jokes at? In front of white people? I'm like, hey, that's where I get booked. That's where I can do stuff. So they're telling you like, hey, you a dope black, like you a dope black Mexican comic. Or
another thing is also hey, you Mexican dude, why don't you just stop this shit and go get a construction job and get a wife? That's what I hear, you know, from certain family members. Like, cut the shit, go get a real job and get a wife and have some kids and you know, do the Mexican thing.
They want you to do what they want you to be. They want you to do the Mexican thing, the safe thing, the safe thing. I mean, I think that goes across the board for all cultures. Like all family members want to see their members,
that's true,
the families of their members, like do something that's going to be secure for their future.
Exactly.
But when we're talking about you know, stand-up comedy and the way that certain people think that certain people from certain races are supposed to behave, that's the part that blows my mind. You know, in one case, one person was trying to insult me on the spot. In the other case, somebody was trying to pay me a compliment on the spot. But they were both essentially they were both doing the same thing. They were both saying,
stay in your lane.
This is how people are supposed to behave. I see people, I see a certain color, and I say to myself, this is how they behave. And that shit to me is, at the end of the day, that shit to me is detrimental. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't really see I don't see any progress in there. And it kind of like puts you in a position where you're basically stating to the world, like, I only see the world through this lens and I can't see it any other way.
Yeah, and it's like coming from like the East Coast and assuming that everybody here just does a lowrider thing. And
exactly.
Not knowing that there's a variety of different styles all over the world, really.
Now
coming to the Bay and thinking that like that's LA. LA does lowriders more than, even though we do it up here too. But the Pacific coming, it's more. It's the West Coast, y'all. All y'all do is lowriders. It
started up here. Like a lot of the pioneering was out here.
Really, for lowrider culture.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Like Lowrider magazine started up here
in San Jose.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Jesus Cruz just made that claim here on.
Put it up
just for the record.
Yeah, it's an interesting conversation, man. Especially since we are in the Bay Area and so many people in the Bay Area share and partake in so many different cultures.
Yeah, right.
And it's always praised on a very surface level.
Yeah.
For example,
eating with chopsticks at a restaurant,
or what people will say, like, hey man, you know, we're all from the Bay. You could be an Asian dude, or a white dude, or a Mexican
Filipino
dude. Hey, we're all from the Bay, man. We all talk like this. We all got that swag. It's like, okay, cool. On the surface level, that seems like a cool thing,
right?
But then when somebody actually starts like acting like the people that they grew up around, we're so fast to be like, why are you acting like that? Well, what the fuck happened to the whole, we're united because we're from the Bay and we all partake in this and that. That was cool when we were all dancing and shit, right? But now when somebody actually talks about their involvement with a Vietnamese family and I'm Mexican, or I'm a white dude and I grew up around black people, or whatever the situation may be, once you actually start acting on it and you get into something a little bit deeper, more specific, now all of a sudden it's offensive. And I don't understand, I don't believe in that train of thought because I like my philosophies to be consistent. I'm not going to change my shit up just because something got more specific, and it requires a little more digging. If I'm gonna dig into something, I'm gonna maintain the same philosophy until I see reasons to change it. So and I do believe that you could be I know white dudes that grew up around a lot of Latinos, and they have Latino tendencies. What the fuck else are they supposed to do?
Right.
I don't know what are they supposed to do? You know what I mean? Like, you know how many Mexicans are in East Oakland with gold grills and doing the black thing, and it's like, what are they supposed to do, bro?
It's
they grew up on 98th Avenue. They never left the fucking city of Oakland. Some of them literally. Like, what? How else do you want them to behave? What do you want them to do?
Proximity.
It's proximity.
Yeah, I hang around like a lot of Latinos, like mostly Latino stuff. But everybody, like, especially I used to go to Contra Costa College, and they'd be like, "Hey, bro, why you always hang around like Mexican people or Latinos?" Like, I'm like, Who I'm supposed to hang around? Y'all, like black people obviously asking me this. I'm like, y'all, first of all, y'all younger than me. Y'all from Berkeley, which was another weird thing because like I grew up in Richmond, y'all grew up in Berkeley, so it's like a separatism there. And I'm like, well, I don't like. I mean, you cool. I don't like the rest of your clique or whatever. But I was like, these are people who I hang out with. We work out together. We do this kind of stuff. We're interested in some of the same stuff. He was like, yeah, but would you like trying to speak Spanish? I'm like, I mean, well, I wouldn't. It wouldn't hurt to like, speak another language. You know, that'd be cool. I was like, I know American Sign Language. What, should I be hanging out with deaf people? Like, what you?
I was hanging out with them non-hearing ass motherfuckers. Man.
Yeah, because like it'd be funny because I've always heard that because I remember I got sick like back in like 2009, and then my mom always gives me props because she's like, you have like a multitude of friends. Like she learned that when all my friends came to visit me, it was like white people, with some Indian people, Mexicans, Asian, like the whole. She's like, you had like the whole rainbow up in here. She's like, all the nurses just like, he has a lot of different friends. Like, and then my mom like, she's like, why is it that? I was like, I just meet people. I'm super friendly. I like who I like. That's who I'm like. This person's Latino. This person's Asian. We all like chill. We all vibe. We all do different stuff. So that's what it is. But then I feel like people do try to put you like in a box because I feel like society does that.
Absolutely.
So they try to. Because of what society's doing, they put it on you as well. Like, okay, why are you trying to leave and be different?
I have a perfect example. Something you just mentioned. I didn't know you were into Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
As an example, like no black dudes are into Yu-Gi-Oh.
I don't even know what that is.
Yeah,
is that a car?
It's like anime porn. Is that what it is?
No, it's not anime porn. Fuck out of here, dude. All right. See, and then the funny thing,
samurais.
So what it is, it's like a trading card game, like Pokemon, right?
Okay.
So Pokemon had Pokemon cards, and Yu-Gi-Oh was like another anime.
Which is known for mostly Asian kids.
It's mostly Asian kids, but then because I was in a Yu-Gi-Oh, I didn't like to I try to hide that all the time.
No linebackers are out there.
Exactly.
You know?
No linebackers. No football players are out here like playing cards, stuff like that.
No Vato Locos.
Exactly.
He's not shooting dice out in the bag.
Exactly.
Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
But right, exactly. But that was the thing though. Like I chose Yu-Gi-Oh cards over shooting dice or stuff because like people were getting a fight over dice games. People would get robbed over dice games. People were getting jumped over dice games. I'm like, I ain't getting robbed. Well, I did get robbed for my Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Yeah.
Is that serious?
Some of them are worth thousands, bro.
No, it was the people shooting dice who robbed us.
Damn.
Hey, man, is that a Yu-Gi-Oh?
You guys are next to each other.
Because they knew it was worth money and they knew a bunch of people was collecting them, right? So they was like, they would go through. So my stuff got stolen during PE. They like went in my backpack, stole it, and they was like, don't bring Yu-Gi-Oh cards here. And I'm just like, nah, it's just me and my few friends. Like we're just like centered around each other, right? And then because they made the announcement to not bring Yu-Gi-Oh cards, they was not reliable, so I couldn't get them back. And so then I saw the dude who like had them. Funny thing about it, he was in slow remedial classes.
Get the fuck out of here, bro.
He was in the slow. They got out at 12:30.
Yeah.
All right. Everybody else got out at 2:10 and caught the bus. So he had to walk home.
Bro.
You know who didn't put himself in the box? Who? The small remedial guy. You would not expect that from him.
You
but,
got robbed by a dude with a padded helmet? Oh my god.
No. It was one of those dudes who was like just from the hood who like couldn't read good, couldn't write good. So he's in slow classes, not like mentally challenged classes. He's in the slow like I'm reading at like a 5th grade reading level, and we're in the 8th grade, like that kind of thing.
I think a lot of us did, man. Yeah, this is to me, it's one of those topics that just like it'll never end.
It'll never end.
I think at the end of the day, dog, at the end of the day, society wants two things to happen. Society wants to believe that they're always making progress.
Yeah.
But then society at the same time always wants to be able to call somebody out for being fake or for working against progress. Yeah. And I just don't know how you could, the fact that somebody will still come up to anyone in 2023 and say, oh my God, that's incredible that you have all these different friends of different races. That's incredible. That alone, I don't give a fuck how positive it sounds. Yeah. That alone is a clear indicator that we have not overcome the notion of race. Yeah. And how is it possible that you could fuck with people that eat different foods
we get that, different countries? We get that here. We never even thought about it when it was Marco sitting next to me and then Black Joaquin sitting next to Corday. Yeah. And it's like, you guys
still sitting next to Corday.
You guys are a very mixed, podcast. It's like, we never even thought of that. Like,
No, you don't even think about it.
No. You just like right now, people would say like, oh, you guys always have a really. It's just we bring on the people we know, and like race is never really like something we think about.
Yeah.
You know, like
So and there's no way to remedy it, at least not in this lifetime, because I don't think society really wants that. Society doesn't want to be fixed.
No,
it just always wants to be in this fucking this limbo.
and what is fixed?
Exactly, what is fixed? So all there really is to do is make fun of it.
Because the people if it's fixed, the people who's in power loses that power, so they don't benefit of it being fixed. So you keep it separate because of that. So you be like, oh, we made progress, but then slowly backing and reinforcing some of the same stereotypes all the time. So it's like, no, we've made progress, but like progress will never really be made because the people who run everything benefit from it being current.
But then that's what keeps us going in this comics is those things never get fixed.
And so I hope this motherfucker keeps crumbling.
Never get fixed.
Never get fixed. You know, and that's why, just to bring it back
we decided here to stay off of therapy as long as possible. Put it in, everybody. No,
I need therapy, bitch.
Invest in Yu-Gi-Oh cards. That's what the fuck I was
I'm still mad because I remember during the pandemic hit, I remember Yu-Gi-Oh was selling out, and I remember I kept like wandering the Target, and I was like, all the Yu-Gi-Oh cards were sold out, and it was a ton of Pokemon cards, and I was like, I feel like because I'm like working from home, I should start buying Pokemon cards because I feel like they might be worth something one day. I kept telling myself for like 4 months. 2 months later, Pokemon was a huge fucking thing, and it's like sold out everywhere. People going to different Targets. They was like, you can only buy 1 box of Pokemon cards, and I was like, I fucking knew it. And like my ass, I'm just sitting here.
They
just
were
like
rationing out Pokemon.
They was rationing because
bunch of fucking communists. Are you serious?
because one of the Logan brothers bought an old school base set for like $350,000, right? So then that just drove the price up. Then he got a original first edition Charizard, and I think it sold for $350,000. Now, old school Charizards always have been like pricey. Like right now, if you got like a nice mint condition one, it's $10,000. It might be up to $25,000 down, but because he bought it for $350,000, it immediately everything skyrocketed up. I told my cousin, the one who said he was fat because he was playing running back and stuff like that, right? He has one at his mom's house right now, and I was like, hey, cuz you said you was trying to get a house, right? That thing sitting in the closet, you can sell that shit right now. He was like, cuz I mean, it is sitting right there. I was like, you want a house? Option that shit off.
Sell that motherfucker right now.
And the funny thing about it, his dad bought it back in 1998 or 1999. That shit was $100.
That's wild, bro.
You don't know how these prices were?
No, hell no. I didn't know a lot about Charizard. That wasn't
what
my
about
thing.
Garbage Pail Kids? Is that worth anything? Garbage Pail Kid cards?
Do you remember? Collection.
Since you were already on the radio like last time you came, right?
Yeah.
You've been doing more stuff. You got a new project recently, right? I saw you have.
Well, actually, no. This is a passion project that I put together. It's called the Second Gift Project. What I'm trying to do is I got a lot of friends that are teachers, and one of the things that I keep hearing about, especially like in elementary schools, is that there's not enough money for resources a lot of times. So I asked them about books because I'm a big proponent of literacy and actually reading books, and I really do believe that there is like something to holding a book in your hand and reading the pages. And so what I did is I started this book drive called the Second Gift Project. I'm trying to collect 1,000 books so that I could donate them to Bay Area schools and hospitals. And even if I get some adult books, because some people have been giving me some like adult content type of books,
like Playboys.
No, not like shit. If you get those, I'm keeping those motherfuckers.
Erotica.
I'll trade that in for some Yu-Gi-Oh cards. No, but I'm gonna give those to like to YA centers and jails and stuff like that. I just want to put books back into circulation, the best way that I can. So right now I'm up to I only got like 150, 160 books, but it's been less than a month. And the idea is to get 1,000 books before the end of the year, man.
You're doing different events. I think you did one at Chaplin's, didn't you?
I did one at Chaplin's. That's one of the drop-off locations.
Oh, okay. So you can still do.
Yeah, you could still go. The goal is to reach 1,000. So just in case anybody wants to drop off some books, I got 4 or 5 locations going on right now. It's Lavish Lifestyle Barbershop in Concord, actually not too far from here.
Nice.
Chaplin Sports Bistro in Union City. Big Choose Barbershop in San Leandro, the Dark Horse Lounge, a bar, because motherfuckers do get drunk at the bar and read. That shit does.
A lot of readers drink, bro.
They're really fucking Ernest Hemingway. That motherfucker was a lush. And he had bars, and then also Crunch in San Lorenzo, Crunch Gym in San Lorenzo. They partnered up with me. Nice. They caught wind of what I was doing, and they've been super cool, and they've been like opening up their doors for it. So I got a few drop off locations, and the goal is to get 1,000. That's all we
1,000 books.
1,000 books, man. I'm a big proponent of that, dog. Like I think that there's a direct correlation between those kids that would read out loud in class and the confidence that they have later on in life.
Yeah.
I really do believe that, because what you're doing, like when you read out loud in class, bro, what you're doing is you're basically performing.
Yeah. I used to do that shit.
You're performing, and what you're performing, what you're showing the world in that moment is, how does my brain work?
Right.
I'm going to show you right now how my mind works.
Yeah.
By reading these words in front of the whole class.
And I hated that shit.
That's what I'm saying,
Dude,
bro.
I would change voices. I would change voices to the characters. So they always liked when they picked me, dude.
You did that? You were
like
doing
if it was a wizard, dude, I'd be like, I'm the wizard now.
that kid made it hard for me. I mean, like this.
Yes.
That was me, because I get nervous and then I can't read.
Yeah, exactly.
And then, all right, the teacher. Anyone else?
Yeah. So then probably, and I'm gonna assume right now about your life, right? You probably
Can't read?
You
Yeah,
probably
no.
didn't have. You probably had a. He's like, I'm illiterate. No, but you probably didn't get your confidence from that. You probably got it from being funny later on down the. Yeah.
And
And that you
detention.
know, there's different shit. Fucking detention. That's an open mic as far as I'm concerned. Fuck. But that's how. There's different ways to get to gain confidence. It's just that one of the ways that I've noticed that is very common is through reading.
Right.
When I see little kids, a lot of my little nephews and nieces, when I see the ones that are great readers and they're reading out loud and they're willing to do that, I see a direct correlation between that and the confidence that they have in other aspects of their life.
And it gets you talking. You read something in a book, and then you're like, hey, I read this thing, and then
You guys remember your favorite book in like elementary school?
Oh, bro. Oh, in elementary school?
Yeah.
shit,
I guess.
I read The Hobbit.
Yeah.
It was Indian in the cover for me.
Indian in the cover?
Yeah, that shit.
What about where the red fern grows?
Yeah.
Or the Island of the Blue Dolphins? This is some old shit.
Yeah,
Okay, you advanced motherfuckers. My favorite was Green Eggs and Ham, because I struggle reading too. Yeah, right.
we go.
So I needed those pictures.
I just want to make it clear, I didn't struggle reading. I just struggle reading out loud.
Right,
And
right.
then
There's a difference.
I feel like I would fumble my words, and
doing it right now.
I kind of I have a little bit of a stutter, so and it made it awkward, and I'm looking at like, fuck, I'm bombing right now.
Right.
Like,
And that's the feeling.
Yeah.
You feel like you're bombing because you're putting your mind and your brain on display. And you know what the fuck the other kids are thinking?
Yeah.
They're like, this
Yeah,
motherfucker's
pinche pendejo.
stupid. They're like, can't get through a word. He's stumbling and shit.
Yeah.
And that, bro, that's your first fucking one of your first performances. And you know you got hecklers like a motherfucker. You know.
I remember I was in 8th grade and the chick said I couldn't read. I was like, bitch, I can read. I just read on a rhythm. I was like, so it's like a timing based thing or whatever, right? Because like I don't just like read. No, because that's how I did it. Because
Green Eggs and Ham.
Yeah. Exactly. So it's like, no, don't read it. Like, I remember, and the teacher's like, just read it normally. I was like, this is how I read. Like I read like the kind of a thing, and then she'd be like, and then you know how the teacher kind of helps you with the word. I was like, I wasn't struggling.
Like,
I was just trying to get back on beat.
Give me a beat.
Basically that's what it was. So she was like, the word is like something, and I was like, I know this word. I was like, I'm not struggling. Like I got it. Like bitch, like I was like, you're boring, right. And I'm trying to like read to a beat. I'm trying to do like this fool with the instead of the characters. I'm trying to like jump to a beat. Like
See, next time they had another black dude, like, how come you don't read on beat like the other guy?
Exactly.
Chapter
Talking
1.
about boxes.
Yeah,
Chapter
exactly.
1.
You read like a white guy. No rhythm having ass.
Yeah.
You pause that period.
That's one thing. I was never trying to pause at a period. I was always trying to go through a period, and I was trying to go through like a comma. And then she's like, "You're supposed to stop there." And I was like, first off, you threw me off. All right. Right. Don't interrupt my freestyle. Okay.
But see,
I would stall. What page? What? Because I
Start
hated
flipping
that
them?
shit. Yeah.
Back in just to make noise, you know.
Yeah.
But see, I grew up to be a grammar Nazi though.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I'm actually proud of that though, because I know they'll never admit it.
Yeah.
But I know that I've impacted my friends.
Yeah.
And the way that they write and the way that they spell.
Yeah.
And the punctuations that they use.
Yeah.
A couple of my homies back in the day, man, when we would text, you're talking about just a long run-on sentence, no periods, no commas, nothing, right?
That's because you have to press all the buttons.
But now over the years, man, I've noticed, bro, that through my fucking me being a part of the text threads and me texting, I know for a fact that they've learned how to use commas and semicolons and hyphens. I know that they're using it because I've basically taught them that.
Yeah.
And it's through the text messages, and I'm not trying to take credit for it, but I am kind of taking credit for it.
Well,
Because I'm like, good for you. You're fucking realizing like being grammatically correct is useful.
You need to text me then, because I'm not like the best when it comes. Like I
got you, bro.
I have a lot of run-on sentences. I have like a lot of comments like, oh, like there's a compound sentences right here and stuff.
Yeah.
Because you said confidence comes from reading. I got confidence come from reading, but also my confidence originally came from math because everybody around me couldn't do math, and I still feel like today a lot of people who can't do math, who hate math,
Dude.
I'm always just like, no, that's
Goodwill Hunting over here.
Yeah, exactly. Basically,
Real
basically,
talk,
like
bro.
I see people's like math. I'm like, oh, what you doing right there? Is that geometry?
And that's the thing. I work construction now, and I see motherfuckers that are good at what they do, but they're hella illiterate.
Yeah.
And they can't write, but mathematically
They
good.
got it.
Yeah.
They say that math is God's language.
Yeah.
And there, I do believe that there's definitely some truth to that. Like there's been many different angles and many different equations, and I might be using all the wrong terminology because I'm not a math guy.
No, you're saying it.
But
right.
you see how once it's broken down, there's almost like a divine
language,
a
like
divine
broken.
language
Yeah,
there
yeah.
right into it. And the person that fucked me up because I hated math, and that's because my first grade teacher, Miss Rogers, I hope that bitch is rotting in hell right now. She fucked me up mentally, dog. She brought me up to the front of the class.
So that's where you fell off, huh? The math.
Bro, that's where I hated math my entire life because she fucking humiliated me. I was in first grade, and you're supposed to be 6 in first grade, but I was always a year younger, so I was 5. I wasn't even mentally mature enough to take that type of stress.
Yeah.
But she brought me up to the front of the thing, and she was like, she took the question was, how much is 1 quarter? If I have $1, and she broke it down into 4 quadrants, and she was trying. This bitch was trying to get me to do fractions.
Yeah,
at
exactly.
5 years old, right?
Yeah, 5 years old.
And she was like, how much is 1 quarter? And I'm sitting there, and I'm fucking sweating and shit, and I'm like, I'm trying to count on my fingers. Like,
Everybody put your hands up.
I'm looking at my friends. Shout out my homie Willie. He tried to help me, but he put up a 3, so that was the wrong. that was the wrong answer. Damn. But he tried though. He tried.
Yeah.
And bro,
This one.
Yeah.
he's like tres, because he didn't really speak English. Tres.
Nah, that fool's throwing no gang signs.
Bro, and Miss Rogers was on my ass. She must have been having a bad day, man.
Damn.
She was like, how much? She was like, Rodolfo.
Oh shit.
How much is 1 quarter?
Your Christian
I'm like,
name.
You filthy bitch. I'm like, and I just remember fucking trembling, and I was sweating and shit.
Yeah.
And I just gave up. I just said, I don't know. And she was like, sit down.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck.
That's the
this
day I
bitch.
discovered tequila.
That's it right there. I just pulled it out from my cubby. I'm like, man, this bitch is tripping, man.
I got your quarter right here.
Got your fucking quarter pint, bitch. Yeah, bro. So she fucked me up.
Yeah, no, and I feel like there's some people that are good at one thing, they're not
Absolutely.
good at the other thing, and that's I wasn't good at any of them.
So you started a podcast.
Exactly. For you, do you feel like because you're doing radio and your comedy, I don't know how to word this, but
Go ahead.
you're always on.
Yeah.
Like, do you ever get tired where you like, I want to take a month off of comedy and radio?
Nah, to be honest with you, man, people do ask me like similar questions to that, and even like people that aren't really interested in my radio life, they'll ask me about comedy and being on. This is one thing about me, dog. And I don't know if comics are being honest when they say this, but I've noticed that a lot of comics, I feel like it's like a running joke, no pun intended, but it's like a running joke to be like, oh, I don't like people. I kind of like to stay away from people, and it's like this ongoing like to be a comic, you're supposed to have that attitude. Let me tell you something right now. I fuck with people. I like people. I like talking to people. I like making small talk with fucking absolute strangers. I don't even like small talk. I like big talk. Like if I meet you at a bar, Frankie always makes fun of me because of this, because when we go to a bar, to a restaurant, I'll leave the comics behind because we know each other. Like we've been talking to each other. We've been talking about the same shit, Right. So I'll leave the comics behind and I'll go meet somebody at the bar, and I'll be like 10 minutes into it, I'm chopping it up with them. Yeah. So to answer your question, I don't never feel like I'm really on, because this is just how I am. And I enjoy people. I fuck with strangers. I like talking to people that I've never met before, so it doesn't, and I never feel the weight of having to be on, because I legitimately enjoy human beings. Yeah.
You're an extrovert. That's what that is.
I'm a
Extremely
super extrovert, bro.
extrovert.
I'm a super. But one thing about like enjoying other people though is that you do have to know how to enjoy your time alone.
There you go.
That is a crucial element though, because you can't really be good company unless you're good company to yourself.
Yeah.
That's why they say like somebody who says that, oh nah, I get bored easy. Well, that's probably because you're a boring person.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Oh, I don't like to do that because that's so boring. It's like, well, that's probably because you suck. You know what I mean? Like, you just haven't haven't figured it out yet, like how to be cool with yourself and in your alone time. So you take that attitude with other people, you know. But I spend a lot of time by myself, and I legitimately enjoy it, you know. And it doesn't necessarily feel like I need that time so I can like recharge for other people. It's just like
your personality's perfect for this thing.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like my personality fits in with the radio world, the comedy world.
You're not being like fake on stage and putting on an act. That's all you. And I could tell that's
honestly, dog. That might be legitimately one of the things that I'm most proud of about myself as a comic, is that when people tell me the way that you are on stage is exactly how you are off stage. Yeah. Like your personality, the way that you carry yourself, it's the same thing. And honestly, bro, like to me, that's the biggest compliment, because I feel like I'm being my authentic self. And you know, what else can you ask for, Doug? Right. What else can you ask for?
I got another question I wanted to ask you.
Go for it.
Because you were kind of talking about this a little bit off camera, and I want to ask you. You were like, you saw Sean a day before literally he passed.
Yeah, bro.
Homie Sean Boyles.
Sean Boyles, RIP to the homie Sean Boyles, man. Super unexpected, super tragic.
Yeah.
Something about when a comic dies, there's a fraternal feeling that I think does exist, that maybe we don't acknowledge it very often, but the fact that we all go on stage and we try to make people laugh, and we excuse me, and we make ourselves vulnerable, that creates a fraternity in my mind. And I've had when other comics have died in the past, you know, I've been doing this for 15 years now. And so when other comics have died in the past, even when I didn't know them very well, it brought a tear to my eye for that reason. Yeah. Right. Because I understand what this person was trying to do as an artist on many different occasions. You want to go on stage, you want to share your thoughts, you want to share your ideas, and you want to get a reaction out of people. And that takes some balls, man, because you make yourself vulnerable to strangers who are for sure going to judge you. Yeah. And that's a tough thing to do, you know. So we do build a bond. And the thing about Sean is that, you know, I knew him better than most other comics that I had seen come and go or pass away in the comedy world. So I was with this fool on Sunday night, the Sunday night before he passed, over at the Branham Lounge. Yeah, in San Jose. So I think his
last show.
Yeah, I think I actually saw his last show.
No, second to last.
And I followed him. So I was up. It was him, and then it was me. Mm-hmm. And so I got to watch his last set, or second to last set. Yeah. And then I had Ubered over there, and he caught wind that I Ubered, and he was like, "Dog, I'll give you a ride home."
Oh, no way.
So, bro, we went from San Jose, took 880. He took me back up to San Leandro. We were in the car together for like about 20, 25 minutes, chopping it up, just laughing about life, laughing about all the fucking, just commiserating, talking about all the shit that had gone wrong for us recently, you know, commiserating the way comics do, you know what I mean? Yeah. But also laughing about it. So I had a chance to just kind of talk to him about some personal stuff and just where he was in life. And to be honest with you, man, like, I'm honored that I even got an opportunity to do that, because I never posted about it on social media. I was shocked as everybody else when I found out that he died. But I didn't want to jump to social media. What I did do, though, is I DM'd his mom to let him know that I was with him a couple of nights before, and I just wanted to, you know, obviously give her my condolences and, you know, thank her for like bringing this person into the world that we could enjoy, even if it was for a limited amount of time. And, you know, it'll be a fond memory for me forevermore, because that was the last time I got to see him, and it was very close to the end of his life.
Do you remember last time you were here, he had just been on the same episode, like right before?
Yeah.
Do you mind if I share that?
Go ahead.
Because I know we edited stuff out.
Go ahead.
Now
bro.
that his passing kind of makes a little bit more. Well, because I want to share with you something about that.
Absolutely, go for it.
You remember? Okay. All right. It's okay with you?
No, it's totally okay with me. Because I did it for the right reason.
This was like a few swigs of tequila in, where you mentioned
it was like 3 beers and then a few swigs of tequila.
We had him on, and we were
3 beers of tequila.
We had a Rudy on, and we were. I asked you if you were still on 94.7 The Game,
right?
And then he's like, "No, not at all." And it's like, "Well, because yesterday we had just been at a show the day before, Sean Boyles' show. It's like he brought you up as a host, and you're like, yeah, that's because, you know, Sean doesn't know about fucking radio. Like, if it isn't Japanese women and dreadlocks, I wouldn't expect Sean to know. You a few shots in.
Oh,
you know?
for sure. But what I was unaware of, though, is that he had just gone through a divorce. You know, so
you hit me up the day the episode came out. Asked us to edit that part out.
I was like, Brad, don't mention the Japanese wife thing, because if they were still together, it'd be fine.
Right.
But they had just gone a divorce, and you know, I was completely unaware of how rough it was for him. Because like any man that goes through the divorce, bro, that's a fucking that takes a toll on you.
By the way, he was fine with it. I'm just so you know.
Oh, okay, was he?
Yeah, he thought it was funny.
Okay.
But before that, he hit me up. He's the first person to hit me up to say that episode was hilarious. It was awesome.
That's not, I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to know that. I just didn't want it, bro, because it's just like there's some things where it's like if you're not aware of something.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing, though. I was definitely poking fun at him, but in my mind, I was aware of what I was doing.
Yeah.
Right.
But then when I realized that I wasn't aware of what I was doing, I was like, oh, shit. Now it's not really a joke the way that I intended it to be.
Yeah.
So whether I was drunk or not, you know, the fact that I had no idea what I was talking about, that made it more personal. So I was like, nah, bro, like I don't want to disrespect my boy Sean. I would tell him this in person, but I feel like if I put it on a podcast and just blast it to the world, I don't know how he's going to respond to that. You know what I mean? So,
yeah, he was cool with it. But yeah, I just wanted
glad to
throw
hear that,
in
man.
there, man. Hey, we're close to the end, bro.
Yeah.
Thank you again for coming out.
Thank you guys for having me, man. Let me run my mouth for an hour and a half.
Do it again.
Anytime, bro. Whenever you need a pinch hitter, just holler at your boy, man. I'll come through.
I asked you if you wanted to take over the voice party for me, and you said yes.
Yeah. Was I drunk?
I think so.
I said no at one point.
Let me tell you something, man. I would be honored to ever be like a guest host if you ever need one, bro.
Okay.
I'd be honored.
Damn.
Yeah, bro. Real
All
talk.
right.
Because you guys got a real fucking setup here. Fucking look, Phil is over here handling business.
Sometimes.
You know, and well, you know, he looks like he's handling. He's got all the wires in his direction. So I always give that person.
That's how America works, baby.
That's how it works, man. Yeah,
It's
bro.
okay. We
but-
can mute Jesus. That's fine.
But yeah, anytime.
Absolutely. We talked about it.
Yeah, absolutely,
For real. Anything you want to plug?
Yeah, obviously tonight, you know, I got a show tonight, but this isn't going to air. So.
This isn't gonna come out till 2024.
Oh, shit. Well, fuck it then.
January.
Hopefully. January?
No, wait.
February.
May or February?
May.
May.
God damn.
Sorry. January or February?
These are the January.
All right, January
episodes. Ooh, what do I got going on? I mean, I'll be in. This is for anybody who happens to be around the country. I'll be on the road. I'll be on the road with Frankie Quinones, the one and only Frankie Quinones. And you said January, right? So January 4th through the 6th we'll be at Comedy Works in Denver, Colorado. February 2nd and February 3rd we'll be in Fort Worth, Texas, and Dallas, Texas. And then February 16th and 17th we'll be at Cobb's Comedy Club in San Francisco. So anybody who hears this, you can go to frankiequinones.com, get tickets for that. I mean, I'll probably have my own stuff booked as well. So you can go to rudyortiz.com and check me out there. I just don't have the dates available.
What's your IG?
At It's Rudy Ortiz.
At It's Rudy Ortiz.
It's Rudy Ortiz. That's my IG. And also check out the Second Gift Project. It's a brand new page. It's less than a month old, but you know we're making some traction and people are actually participating. So shout out to everybody that's already donated books. Hopefully by the time that this airs, we'll have reached our goal of 1,000 books.
1,000 books?
Yeah, that's the goal.
Is there a link or anything that we can follow? Is it just a?
Well, you go to the IG. And you just check up the locations. I mentioned them a little bit earlier. So you can check up the locations for donations, drop-off spots, or you could hit me up directly and I'll tell you where to mail them. And I'll just have them mailed over to the radio station.
I'm gonna hook you up.
Hook me up, dog.
We'll talk.
Whatever you got, bro.
Anything you guys want to? Any closing remarks?
No, just thank you, Rudy,
any complaints?
Yeah, I want Rudy to do more acting. I've told him millions of times, man.
Oh yeah, you did
We've done a couple of skits,
Kitchen
man.
Spanish.
But, yeah, no, you got that natural talent, man. Like,
Gracias, bro. Likewise, man.
yeah, like get on that, man. If that's something that you.
No, I definitely would like to like dip into that a little bit more.
I want to see your acting right now, bro.
What do you want, fool? Give me a scene.
Give me
a scene.
Here's the
What
scene.
just happened?
I'm late to work again, and
Okay.
you're my boss. You really like me, but you have to fire me.
Okay.
That's because you have to do that.
Oh man, sorry, dude. I just there's a lot of traffic, and my car had troubles. I had a flat tire.
JD, you live around the corner. I don't understand.
But I like to have my car parked nearby.
Yeah, no, I understand. I understand that you want it your way, but that's the problem. You want things your way all the time. You can't have it your way all the time, okay? Just because you work at Burger King doesn't mean you can have it your way.
Time's just an illusion, homie.
Time is not an illusion. Time is a frame of mind.
Okay.
And your mind is fucked up. So I got to tell you right now.
I won't. It won't happen again. I
No,
promise.
you know, you're right. It won't happen again. You want to know why?
Why?
Because you're fucking fired. And scene. Damn. That's been the voice party. That's how you kick somebody out of the grill. You know?
And he asked you because he's got to fire somebody. So
Just go straight to it, bro. Just rip the fucking Band-Aid
It's
off.
fucked up. I had to fire someone recently.
Get the fuck out
Yeah.
of here. Did it kind of go like this, or?
It was weird, bro. I said, "Can you come off the ladder?" And he didn't come off, and I just did it while he was on the ladder. I fucked up, dude.
So you had to look up at that fool.
This motherfucker, you didn't even let the man be on solid ground.
It came out, bro. I think I was sad about Sean. I just didn't want to go through it. You know?
He just didn't want to climb the ladder. He's like, no, you come up here. Then he just jumps off the ladder.
And then we like gave him a hug somehow.
You fucking shake the ladder. You got to come down.
You hugged his ankles.
No, I
Like,
did
hey,
that.
good job, man. Good job.
He went for a handshake, and I did the, 'cause
Little bro hug.
it came from up above. It wasn't my decision, you know.
Damn.
Literally up above.
Yeah.
Bro.
Damn. You gave him the old severance package hug. Like, here you go, bro. Take it easy, man.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man. Well,
That was good. That was good acting, bro.
hey, I do what I can, man. I've always wanted to fire somebody, so I really, I was really pulling from a sincere place.
All right, man. Well, that's been the Voice Party.
And we're out.
Yes, sir.
And scene.